Thank you. First of all, before we go any further, I'd like to thank Alex and Phil for allowing us to use their fine facility at Monroe. They've been very generous to us over the years. We will, like we've had in previous meetings, we'll have 2 microphones going, and one will be on the floor, probably canceling this one out. And I'd like to introduce our head table if I can. I'm going to butcher her name, but I will do it later. Peter Grimmon, our president, Annette McDonald, Cliff Preston, our secretary and treasurer, and Judy Desolmoro. Is that closer? Oh, okay. Is on our board as well. And I think that's, and Dave Snell, I'm sorry, David, who's our tech guy, who should probably be handling the microphone. Like all good meetings, and like Via Rail, we will be on time. I'm a Los Angeles Dodgers fan, so we will get home before the 3rd inning. So we'd like to finish by 9 o'clock. Basically, the evening will go, I'll make a few presentations, but before we do that, we will have our annual meeting. And I can safely say that I believe we have a quorum here, so we can proceed. And then at the end, we will be having questions after the mayor makes his presentation. Now, before we get going, we had a last-minute surprise, and we have Stephanie Otto of the Canada Water Agency. She's going to give us about a 10-minute presentation on the insights of shoreline management. Okay, Stephanie?
Everyone, my name is Stephanie Otto. I work with the Canada Water Agency, which is a branch of the Government of Canada, and previously a part of Environment and Climate Change Canada. So I'd like to thank you again for inviting me to your meeting and for taking some of your time to tell you a little bit about a project that we have going on. Next slide, please. We're interested in learning how lakefront property owners, such as residents of Wasaga Beach, think about managing their shoreline and the need for protection against coastal flooding and erosion. With the growing impacts of erosion and flooding in coastal areas, it's become more important than ever to manage our shorelines in an effective and sustainable way into the future. One of Canada Water Agency's priorities is to manage stress on the Great Lakes shorelines. And one knowledge gap we found is understanding why and how lakefront property owners protect their shorelines and their properties, but also what barriers and challenges they may face when they do that. So we're interested in hearing from residents of the Wasaga Beach area because of the diverse shoreline in the region and the strong community of landowners that you have here. We feel that we'll be able to gain some valuable knowledge of shoreline management throughout this region, which can help with future engagement efforts. Next slide, please. So for this project, we would like to speak with a handful of residents from Wasaga Beach who are lakefront property owners and have managed their shoreline. So shoreline management includes a variety of practices that work to protect the shoreline from erosion and flooding. And some examples of this include building metal or rock structures, planting various plant species, or installing snow or sand fencing. Interviews would be conducted via video call or phone call and would be approximately 45 minutes in length. We would be conducting interviews throughout November. We're also engaging with contractors, ENGOs, the municipalities, and conservation authorities who also have a role in shoreline management. Next slide, please. Perfect. After interviews have been conducted, we'd like to use the knowledge we've gained to inform future engagement events within the broader Wasaga Beach community. This would entail holding a half-day in-person workshop among the broader Wasaga Beach community to explore further residents' shoreline management perspectives and practices. We'd also share some more details about this workshop once it's been developed with everyone. The responses from the interviews would help us create a workshop that's relevant to the Wasaga Beach community and would help to inform further shoreline management protections and best practices. So this project will help inform community engagement here, but also in other lakefront shoreline communities, and that would overall improve Ontario's shorelines into the future. That's our goal. Great, so thank you again so much for your time. I'll have some handouts available with the details from this presentation and my contact information as well. And I'll also leave some information with your association team to distribute into the future as well. So thank you again. If you're interested in participating or have any questions, I'm happy to answer them now, but I'll also be around after the meeting or during any breaks to chat as well. So thank you very much. If there are no questions right off the bat, we can keep going on, but happy to, oh yes, someone right back.
Is that just the lakefront or does that include the river?
That's a good question. I would say yes, it would include riverfront property owners as well. Anyone who's managed their property themselves or had a contractor come in, any shoreline alterations or of some sort. But yes, I would say the river as well. That sounds good. All right, and I'll be around. I'll have some handouts as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Great, thank you.